The pit was deep, but I knew with one crawl at a time, I would be able to get out. I also pushed myself to learn a new IT skill, which in a few short months doubled my income, lightening the pain of getting my family back on the path to recovery and growth again. Hello YouTube. I know I might get in trouble for this one today, but stick with me. As strange and as unusual as it sounds, I want to tell you that you can push through anger and achieve victory. I dare say anger can be a productive emotion. In fact, it can serve as a fuel for massive success. Stick with me and I'll explain to you how this is achievable. I promise to unravel the secrets of turning anger into a force for massive success. You know, anger has always been a negative reputation compared to positive emotions like happiness, enthusiasm, and hope. The lack of respect for anger is rooted in social, cultural, and religious reasons, as well as the obvious manifestation of its often destructive outcomes, such as aggression and violence. I understand totally why many would believe that we are better off without anger as an emotion. However, more and more social and evolutionary psychologists, some brain scientists, and mental health professionals are actually starting to suggest that anger has value and can be beneficial to the human condition. The challenge has always been the fact that many don't understand or many don't know how to package and leverage this very strong emotion of anger for good. What if I told you that anger, when harnessed and channeled correctly, could be the driving force behind significant life achievements and changes that can revolutionize your life? I totally agree. Most people were raised with the notion that anger is a negative emotion and an unwelcome intruder in life. It is not uncommon for parents to caution and always tell their children with words like, anger is a form of madness. Anger is poison to the spirit. Be careful with anger. Yes, these are all valid points. I totally understand why as parents, because I am one too, I will caution my children against letting the emotion of anger take over their lives. However, as much as I can understand society's viewpoint about anger and all the negative energy and outcomes that it produces, I dare say there is another side to the story. There is another side that many people don't talk about. However, the key lies not in dismissing anger, but in understanding how to package and leverage its energy for good. Anger can sometimes be the catalyst for great achievements and significant life-changing actions. Anger is an emotion in and of itself that is very worthless. The important thing to remember and focus on are the thoughts and actions that these angry emotions generate in you. You must pay attention to the path and the actions that angry emotions lead you to. You see, you must always be very conscious when you start getting the trigger of this emotion. Because anger is like water which can be used for good to save lives or as part of a poisonous cocktail to do the reverse. In a similar breath, anger can be channeled as negative thoughts and actions, or can be packaged as a powerful driver to push you to achieve positive outcomes. I have seen it a lot of times in this life, not only with different people, even with myself too. Because I have known people who were so frustrated about the circumstances surrounding their upbringing that they vowed to never let their children experience the same kind of pain, humiliation, embarrassment. Because of this, they channel that emotion into hard work, into focus and sacrifice to make a better life for themselves and their children and progeny. There are times in your life when you will also need to be angry enough at some circumstance, or at yourself, or at your life, or at your work ethic, or the effort you bring to your goals and your situation, to spur you to do something drastic, to change your story and that of the people that are coming after you. Like most people, you surely have resolutions lined up for this year. I don't know what those resolutions are right now. I have some too for myself. But the one thing I know, you have noble intentions. But you know what? You might fail to do so because you lack enough combustible drive and desire to just do what it takes to make it. Maybe it's lack of discipline to hold yourself accountable to get to the finish line of your goals. Or maybe your circumstance is just not painful enough, or you are not disgusted enough to warrant a commitment to change your life for good and change it now. In fact, I was speaking to a friend of mine who made a radical 360-degree turnaround in his career path and the direction of his life. He has been a high-achieving and successful corporate professional for the last over 2 decades. He was always well-dressed in custom suits and ties. I stumbled on a video of him now as an artist, as a musician focusing on deep Afro roots music, the like of what the famed Fela Ransom Kuti found success in. His new trajectory also ignited a fundamental change in his mindset, outlook, and dress choices as he opted for ethnic outfits and some personal representation of his own cultural heritage and roots. You know what? When I quizzed him about such a radical turnaround, which was even confusing, not only to me, but even to his family, friends, he told me he got to a point when he became angry about the fact that he had a calling for art and music, but never had the guts. He never was able to muster the courage and determination to pursue the same until now in his 50s. He will spend countless hours in the studio, meticulously recording each instrument and concocting them into this melodious, beautiful, and lovely to the ear sounds. He channeled these emotions into his beats, which are a super smooth and rich tapestry of beauty, heavy bass, and acoustics, including the traditional African drums. Listening to his songs, you will tell this is a man on a mission. Trust me, a mission not to die before his gifts and endowments are brought forth into the world. When I talk of anger as a positive emotion, as a vibrating combustible force to drive victorious outcomes in life, I am not referring to an uncontrollable fit of rage or temper and all the negative attributes that can drive you to the point of not being able to be reasonable about the things and the outcomes you want in life. Be very careful with these emotions, of course. If you are one of those who get enraged, please put them under control, otherwise you act in a way that you can regret and can land you in serious trouble. If you struggle sometimes with these out of control angry emotions, you should consider please seeking professional help before you compromise your freedom and throw away your life for nothing. But what I'm actually emphasizing in this video is the ability to be consciously aware of that feeling, but intentionally learn and choose to channel it through a path that can produce positive outcomes. If you're finding value in this video so far, please don't hesitate to hit the subscribe button and notification bell so that you get to receive new content as soon as we publish them. When I look at the statistics on my phone, I realize about 80% of you who watch my video haven't subscribed to my channel yet. Please do well to subscribe to that channel because it gives us the ability to get some important information to research and provide you value. Also, remember that I'll never send you information on WhatsApp or Telegram. Be vigilant down in the comment section. Use your sense of good judgment, because there are bad people who will come to try to swindle you of your money. So stay vigilant. And don't give them money, or don't respond to their messages or their attempts to try to get you into some sketchy associations or groups. So over the last many years, between listening to daily podcasts on my area of interest and expertise and reading the target number of pages I must read every day, because I'm a ferocious reader, and I decided that to expand my mind, to be able to prepare myself to deliver value to humanity like I'm doing to you today, I must spend time reading and studying, right? I read 2 books a month. In that period, I have ferociously read and studied the life and works in autobiographies of many great inventors, great achievers, history-making shakers and movers, people who have shaped the outcome of history and the world as we know it today. These are men and women from different continents, different races, different walks of life, backgrounds, both social and cultural, who lived in different eras of human evolution. Across them all, the one attribute that most of them share is that at some point in their lives, they had significant stretches filled with disgust, filled with disappointment, dissatisfaction at something or some circumstance that needed to be changed, radically transformed, and they had the power and the control to do that, and they took the initiative to go ahead and make that change. They found a way to channel this deep frustration, this deep disgust into ideas, into ventures, into career inventions, and tangible results that have changed the world and humanity for good. They certainly could have opted to direct their frustration into negative intentions and acts of violence, of destruction and devastation based on how they were feeling or what they're feeling at that time. But most of them were wise enough, most of them were disciplined and courageous enough to say, no, I will move it towards the good. Most of them even give credit to anger for driving them to accomplish some of the great things they did. Without this emotion of anger, it is clear to me that the outcomes of their life may never have been the same, and history might never have taken notice. I am reminded here of a great American football player who had a 15-year beautiful Hall of Fame successful career in the NFL. He made millions of dollars while doing this and ended up in the Hall of Fame. This guy was strong, powerful. He would shatter offensive lines, collapse the pocket, chase down quarterbacks and running backs. Even though he was surrounded by equally, and in some cases even more talented teammates and opponents in terms of the offensive players he had to play with. He had an extra boost of explosive energy and was always ready to unleash his wrath on the offensive lineman trying to block him. And each time he was going after the quarterback, anybody who got in his way, he threw them out like a child would throw a piece of toy they're tired of. And so when asked what drove him so ferociously to play with that level of commitment and focus, he told the journalist that when he was a young man in grade school, an older student bullied him one day at lunch and seized his precious McDonald's fries. And for a child coming from a very poor and underprivileged background, it was a very painful and humiliating moment of his life. He felt powerless. He felt helpless. He was left to the mercy of this big bully who he couldn't do anything about. He said he even felt deflated and could only watch as the bully ate his pack of potato fries, one fry at a time, looking at him straight in the eyes and asking him, "What are you going to do?" This singular event created an unforgettable signpost in his life. It left him with so much unforgettable anger. He had a choice to become a bully to others or to bully opponents on the football field on his way to millions and the Hall of Fame. The choice was his. He, however, made a very important decision with that negative feeling and energy. Instead of using his pent-up frustration as a reason for bullying other students, people along the line in his life. He chose to channel that emotion as a motivation on the field. He would practice as hard as he could. He would stay behind after practice for 2 hours, practicing on his techniques. On every play, he would think of the offensive lineman trying to block him as that bully, and he would go against them with all his might, strength, and determination. He did this consistently for 15 years, made a lot of money in the process, and changed his family story. Of course, he ended up retiring as one of the best in the game. I believe very strongly, and even he confessed, that all of this came to pass because despite the painful and torturous emotions of the anger he was feeling and felt across his childhood, he decided to focus and channel these emotions towards a positive and a productive outcome. Think about this strategy and try to apply that to your life. Focus on retransmitting the strong urge to retaliate into a combustible desire to achieve, to get better, to be the best version of yourself. Listen, I won't sit here and claim to be a saint or think you are not human. We all feel, but even at those times, find a way to make reason work. Because it is well documented that most high achieving athletes rose to that status on the back of some deep pain, anger, or disgust. In fact, the famed and legendary boxer Muhammad Ali often used a sense of injustice and anger at societal issues to fuel his activism and boxing career. It's not only in the sports arena, even in other areas of life. The people who've achieved massive success in this life sometimes are driven not by only a desire to want to achieve, but the deep pain and frustration that comes from a long history. The longer you live, the more things that will have the potential to leave you angry and bitter will occur. It is the natural course of nature and human interactions. That is the price you must pay to be alive. Hoping that things don't occur is like trying to control the direction of the wind. Instead, learn how to manage yourself when faced with these angry feelings. The wise Jim Rohn said, "Don't try to change the direction of the wind. It will blow anyways. Work on changing the set of your sail." I love that one. This is what will propel you to your desired destination. Most champions will tell you that one of the reasons they got to where they got to, one of the reasons they made it to the pinnacle of their trade is because of someone or some circumstance challenging them that they could not do it. This challenge ignited a feeling of frustration and anger that was then packaged into a lava-like insatiable desire to prove them wrong, to tell them, no, you cannot determine my capacity and my ability. In the process of proving them wrong, they were able to train themselves to perform at the highest levels and ended up winners. They dug deeper into strengths, skills, and gifts that they never thought existed within. Never underestimate your strength and your resilience when faced with adversity. Trust me, even like the top winners, you listening to me right now also have all those different capabilities lying dormant in you. So as you sail through the peaks and valleys of life on this side of eternity, you must learn to recognize, accept, and understand this emotion called anger as part of your humanity. Yes, everyone has it in different dimensions and in different volumes. Some people control it better, some don't. But if you're one of those who don't, listen again more. Because it will linger in one form or another and surface periodically or maybe extensively as long as you are alive. The important thing is to commit to focusing on challenging the thoughts and actions that it generates into positive outcomes that will change your life, circumstances, and that of your progeny. If you are unhappy with the outcome of your life thus far, a failed venture, challenging circumstance, maybe a failed relationship, or whatever the case may be for you, I want to urge you to please decide to do something to change your circumstance and turn it around. Work on turning your life around for the better. At the age of 28, barely 5 years into my time in America, I was forced to foreclose on 2 homes. I repaid tens of thousands of dollars to the bankruptcy court. I shopped out of 3 stores. I had to make drastic cuts to my family budget and the lifestyle of my wife, children, and my loved ones. The financial decisions I had to make were based strictly on survival. My family was upended completely. This circumstance left me very frustrated, very angry, and deeply hurt. I felt like a failure to myself and my family. I looked at my daughter's eyes every day and they looked up to me, and I felt like, oh, daddy has failed them. I was embarrassed and I continuously beat myself for driving us into a financial hole with some erratic decisions I made at that time. And I remember one morning I got up early, full of rage, and realized I had not been able to sleep that night. I walked to the bathroom, looked at myself in the mirror, and made a life-changing commitment to myself that day. I recognized the angry emotion and I decided I was going to do something about it, and I was going to do something now. Not next week, not next month, not tomorrow, but now. You know what? I told myself I must find a way to get some gain out of this pain. I knew the only way I could do the extraordinary work to access and cross the bankruptcy and financial disaster bridge was to be angry and frustrated enough with my circumstances without blaming anyone or any external circumstance. I had to take full responsibility for where I was and where I brought my family to, because at that point I would be ready enough to take responsibility to take us out. I had to look within, take full responsibility. I buckled up my big boy belts and I got to work. I was determined to do whatever it took to get my family out of this financial mess. That negative emotion emanating from the struggles drove me to seek additional jobs as a nurse at that time to make more money. I worked a little longer hours. I sacrificed extracurricular activities and explore other opportunities that can elevate my financial circumstance and get me and my family where I aspire us to be. The pit was deep, but I knew with one crawl at a time, I would be able to get out. I also pushed myself to learn a new IT skill, which in a few short months doubled my income, lightening the pain of getting my family back on the path to recovery and growth again. I still have some shoes and suits I bought from the Goodwill thrift store over a decade ago during this very challenging time of my life. I use it as a memento to remind me of how deep I needed to tap into my inner strength, how much I had to believe again in my ability, which was dormant. And that's what I want to encourage you watching me today, that you also should work to believe in yourself. Don't underestimate what you can do, especially when your back is against the wall. So keep your eyes on the positive possibilities of what could happen if you just channel this painful, angry emotion into constructive thoughts and actions to secure positive results. I know all you need to be a better you and build the life you desire is found in you. Your choice today of what you do with these angry emotions will be the determining factor in how history will remember you. No matter how difficult the path is, how sore your soul, spirit, and body may feel, you are made of more, trust me. And always remember that you are enough. As you set your resolutions for 2024, as you look into the new year and you ask yourself, are you angry enough at your current situation, your work ethic, or life to fuel a drastic change? Are you ready to make that move? Perhaps the missing link to achieving your goals is this combustible drive, a desire so intense that it propels you to take the necessary steps for lasting success. I will leave you with this. I don't know you personally, and may never get a chance to meet you in this lifetime physically. I don't know the set of conditions surrounding your upbringing, your birth, and your life up until this point. In fact, I cannot attest to the state of your mind and belief at this moment. But what I can tell you without an iota of doubt in my mind and in my spirit is that whatever circumstance or person pushed you to believe that you are not capable, that you are not able, that you are not built to win in this life, tricked you into believing in a lie. Because I know deep in my heart that when I say this to you, I don't say this to impress you, but I say this to impress upon you that you are enough. So as you get out there, be well, be blessed, and never stop being a blessing to somebody. Until next time, see you in the next video.